Evelyn, your tree is coming along beautifully. I love the way the lights twinkle. Do you always decorate like this?
Oh, thank you, Alex. Yes, decorating the tree is one of my favorite traditions. Each ornament has a story. Some are decades old. It's like revisiting little snapshots of my life. But, as much as I love these ornaments, there's one story that stands out more than any decoration on this tree.
Really? Now you've got me curious. What's the story?
It's a memory from Christmas Eve about 50 years ago. I was a young mother just trying to hold things together. That night, a stranger, a kind older gentleman, gave me advice that would change my life forever. I'll never forget it.
50 years ago. That must have been such a memorable moment. Can you tell me what happened?
Of course, it was a cold Christmas Eve, and I was at the grocery store. I remember it so clearly. I had a list in one hand and a handful of coins in the other, trying to figure out how to make a decent holiday meal for my family. Money was tight and every penny counted. I was so focused on adding and re-adding my total that I didn't notice the man standing behind me in line.
It sounds like you were under so much pressure. What did he do?
He must have noticed me struggling. As I was about to put a loaf of bread back on the shelf to stay within my budget, he gently tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Let me help you with that." I was startled that I didn't know him, and I didn't want to accept charity. But his kindness was so genuine and his smile was so warm, I couldn't say no.
That's such a beautiful gesture. But you mentioned his advice was what really impacted you.
After paying for my groceries, he handed me the bags and said something I'll never forget. He said, "You're doing your best, and that's enough. But always remember, life isn't about what you don't have. It's about what you give." At that moment, I was overwhelmed. I'd been so caught up in what I couldn't provide that I forgot to appreciate what I could give.
That's incredibly profound. How did those words shape your life from that point onward?
Oh, Alex, they were a turning point. Up until then, I was so consumed with scarcity, what I didn't have, what I couldn't do, that man's words opened my eyes. I realized I had so much to be grateful. My children, our health, the little things that brought joy. And more importantly, I realized that I had the ability to make a difference in small but meaningful ways.
So you started focusing on gratitude and giving. How did that change your daily life?
It started small. That Christmas, I decided to bake cookies with my kids and deliver them to our neighbors. It cost almost nothing, but the smiles and connections we made were priceless. Over time, it grew into something bigger. I began volunteering at the local shelter, helping others who were in situations like mine. The more I gave, the richer my life felt.
That's so inspiring, Evelyn. It's amazing how one small interaction can ripple out into something so much bigger. Did you ever see that stranger again?
No, I didn't, but I think about him every Christmas Eve. I often wonder if he knew the impact his words and kindness had. Maybe that's why I try to pay it forward, to honor his generosity and wisdom.
Paying it forward. What a wonderful way to live. It seems like his advice has become a core part of who you are.
It really has, Alex. Over the years, I've shared his words with so many people. Whenever someone feels overwhelmed or lost, I tell them my wife isn't about what you don't have. It's about what you give. It's such simple advice, but it has the power to shift your perspective entirely.
That's so true. Do you think this advice is even more relevant today, given how fast-paced and materialistic our world has become?
Absolutely. Today, we're bombarded with messages telling us we need more stuff, more success, more of everything. But the truth is, contentment and connection come from giving, not accumulating. Whether it's your time, your attention, or a small act of kindness, giving creates a sense of purpose that no material possession can match.
That's such a powerful reminder, Evelyn. If you could give one piece of life advice to someone feeling lost or stuck, what would it be?
I tell them to start with gratitude. Take a moment to reflect on what you do have, no matter how small it might seem. Then look for ways to share it. It could be as simple as a smile, a kind word, or lending a helping hand. When you focus on giving, you'll find that your own burdens feel lighter, and you'll discover that life's greatest rewards come from lifting others.
That's such timeless advice. It's incredible how something so simple can have such a profound impact. I imagine your family must have learned so much from your example over the years.
I hope so. My grandchildren especially, I've taught them the value of generosity and gratitude. Every Christmas we do something together to give back, whether it's donating to a food bank or volunteering. It's become our family tradition.
That's wonderful, Evelyn. You've truly turned that stranger's advice into a legacy. Do you ever wonder why he chose to help you that night?
I do, Alex, but I think maybe he saw a young mother who just needed a little kindness and encouragement. Maybe he'd been in my shoes once, whatever the reason. I'm forever grateful. His small act of generosity changed the course of my life.
It's amazing how the smallest actions can have the biggest impacts. Thank you for sharing your story, Evelyn. It's a reminder to us all that we have the power to make a difference, no matter how small.
Thank you, Alex. If my story can inspire even one person to embrace gratitude and giving, then it's worth sharing. Remember, life isn't about what you don't have. It's about what you give. Those words aren't just advice. They're a way of life.
And a beautiful way of life at that. Evelyn, thank you for this heartwarming conversation. Your story and your wisdom are truly a gift.
Thank you, Alex. It means so much to me that you've taken the time to listen. Sometimes sharing these moments helps me relive the lessons and reminds me how far I've come.
I think stories like yours are so important, Evelyn. They connect us and show us the good in humanity. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life and forget that it's the little things that truly matter.
You're absolutely right. I think that's why I cherish moments like decorating this tree. It's not just about how it looks. It's about what it represents, love, memories, and the connections we've built over time.
It's like each ornament has its own voice, telling a piece of your story. It's such a beautiful metaphor for life, isn't it? We collect experiences and people along the way, and they shape who we are.
Exactly. And just like with the tree, it's not about perfection. Some ornaments are old and a little worn, but they're the ones with the most meaning. Life isn't perfect, but it's the imperfections that make it beautiful.
That's such a lovely way to see it. Evelyn, I can't help but think about how your story might inspire others to reflect on their own lives, on what they've been given and what they can give in return.
I hope so, Alex. Kindness is contagious. Even the smallest gesture can spark something much bigger. You never know how your actions might ripple out into the world.
That's so true. I think I'm going to take your advice to heart, Evelyn. This holiday season, I want to focus more on giving. Of my time, my energy, and even just my attention.
That's wonderful, Alex. And don't underestimate the power of simply being present. Sometimes just showing up for someone, listening, or offering a smile can make all the difference.
I think you're right. It's easy to forget that even the smallest moments of connection can mean the world to someone. Your story is such a reminder of that.
I'm so glad to hear that, Alex. And remember, this isn't just for the holidays. It's a way to live every day. When you give from the heart, you'll find that life has a way of giving back to you in unexpected and beautiful ways.
That's such a powerful perspective, Evelyn. I think the world needs more of this kind of wisdom, especially now.
I agree, Alex, and it starts with us, with the choices we make and the way we treat one another. Kindness doesn't require anything extraordinary. It just takes intention and a little courage.
You've truly inspired me, Evelyn. Thank you for sharing your story and your insight. I feel like I've learned so much in this short time.
That means the world to me, Alex. If my story has touched your heart, then it's served its purpose. And who knows, maybe you'll be the stranger who changes someone else's life one day.
I'd be honored to pay it forward, just like that man did for you. Evelyn, you've reminded me of something so important. The best gifts in life aren't things, they're the moments, the lessons, and the connections we share.
That's exactly it, Alex. And those are the gifts that last a lifetime.
Thank you, Evelyn. I'll carry your words with me, not just this season, but every day.
And thank you, Alex, for listening and for being open to the message. May your holiday season be filled with joy, love, and opportunities to give.
Same to you, Evelyn. And I hope the twinkling lights on your tree continue to remind you of all the love and light you've shared with the world.
Thank you, Alex, and may your light shine just as brightly.
You know, Evelyn, as I reflect on what you've shared, I keep coming back to that moment at the grocery store. That stranger's words weren't just a kind gesture. They were a lifeline. Do you think he knew how deeply they would resonate with you?
I've often wondered about that, Alex. He couldn't have known the full impact, but maybe that's the beauty of kindness. It's not about the outcome. It's about the intention. His simple act of generosity was enough to plant a seed, and it's grown into something far beyond what either of us could have imagined.
That's such a profound thought. It's like we all have the power to be a small but significant part of someone's journey. What if more people realized that?
The world would be a much kinder place, Alex, but it starts with each of us. We don't need to wait for a grand moment to make a difference. Every day offers small opportunities to give, to help, and to inspire.
That's such a simple yet powerful call to action. I'm going to try to be more intentional about those small moments, Evelyn, even if it's just a kind word or a listening ear.
That's all it takes, Alex. And don't be surprised if you find those small acts of kindness bringing joy and fulfillment to your own life. That's the magic of giving. It always gives back.
You've certainly given me a lot to think about, Evelyn. It's amazing how a conversation like this can change your perspective.
I'm so glad, Alex. And remember, every time you choose to give or to appreciate, you're honoring the spirit of that stranger from long ago. His legacy lives on, not just through me, but through everyone I've shared his words with.
And now through me, too. Thank you for passing it on, Evelyn. I feel like I'm carrying a piece of your story with me, and I hope to share it with others.
That's all I could ever hope for, Alex. After all, life isn't about what you don't have. It's about what you give. Those words aren't just advice. They're a way of life.
It's amazing to think how something as small as a loaf of bread and a few kind words could have such a ripple effect. That moment with the stranger wasn't just about groceries. It was about hope. Evelyn, have you ever thought about how many lives you've touched because of that one act of kindness?
You know, Alex, I have wondered. It's humbling to think about, really. Every time I've shared his words or helped someone in need, I've hoped that the ripple would continue, that those people might go on to help others in their own way. Kindness is like planting seeds in a garden you may never see fully bloom.
That's such a beautiful way to put it. You're right. Kindness doesn't have to be grand or even immediate to matter. It's the intention behind it that counts. Have your grandchildren ever asked about the stranger? Do they know how much he influenced your life?
Oh, they do. I've told them the story so many times. They even call him Grandma's Christmas angel. Every year as we hang ornaments on the tree, they ask me to tell the story again. I think it's their favorite part of the holidays. It's become more than just my memory. It's part of our family story now.
That's so special, Evelyn. It's like he's become part of your family's traditions, even though you never knew his name. Do you ever wonder what brought him to that grocery store that night? Maybe he was following his own advice, giving what he could when he could.
I do wonder, Alex, maybe he was there for the same reason I was, just trying to make the holidays a little brighter for someone else. I like to think he lived by those words he shared with me. It's comforting to imagine that his life was filled with the same kind of generosity he showed me that night.
In every season of life, the greatest gift you can give yourself and others is to focus on gratitude and share what you can. It's the kind of life advice that can transform not just your Christmas, but your